First of all, thank you, Science Club, again for the invite. I think I gave a talk to another bunch of people at the Science Club last week, but they are all loaded. They are people from the private bank, the second generations. They were looking for biotech investment. But today, I think it's a bit big ego to talk about my entrepreneurial journey. So, you have a peek of this slide is about retirement. Any of you guys think about retirement? Yeah, one. Only one? Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Any of you guys actually leading a retirement life now? Any of you? Oh, none of you. It means that most of you guys do not want to retire anytime soon, okay? This work to me was when I first considered my first retirement at the age of 28. It was literally like 10 years ago. Like this year I just passed my birthday, I'm 38 years old. It was because I was very lucky. I went IPO one of my projects literally 10 years ago. And then most of the people, when they talk about retirement, they talk about financial freedom. And then I was very lucky that I had that when I was in 28. And then, okay, who is this guy? Besides a brief introduction, I'm 38 years old. I hope I look younger than 38. I'm finding co-finance different companies. This is the record so far. 1 win, 2 losers, 1 sleeping, and 2 working on it. I'm going to share one of the working on it project that I'm still lovely engaged in it. And I exited some company and helped some companies to raise different funds. I also personally invest in different VC funds, one in Israel and one in Silicon Valley. And also, as an angel investor, invest in different projects. Okay. Many people actually ask me, have I ever worked for someone else? Actually, I did. But I worked in a very short period of time. My first job was actually in Christian Dior in London. That Hoka Tour, that's a really sexy place. I worked with, I think, a group of 6 French people. 5 of them are ladies. They speak very sexy French accent English. I enjoyed every bit of it. But I quickly realized that wasn't really my destiny. I enjoyed the work. I helped out the Christian Dior own the men's line with his introduction to Asian market. But I realized that wasn't really something that I feel I could enjoy besides those French companies. Then, oops. Is it not working now? Next one. Okay, yes, next one. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then, right after I finished school in England, I started my first company. Actually, it wasn't in Hong Kong, it was in Shenzhen. With money from friends, family, and fools. Not very big amount of money. I always ask people to guess what's my salary for my first job. It was actually 1,500 RMB. Back then, RMB was smaller than Hong Kong dollars. As a Cambridge graduate, got 1,500 RMB per month. That was an absolutely nonsense. I still remember when I hang out with my friends back to Language Hong, I talk to people saying I do my own business and entrepreneur. They all turn their head. You know what? Back then, entrepreneur wasn't as sexy as what we recognize as entrepreneur nowadays. Nowadays, people talk about Elon Musk, may not be Jack Ma nowadays, okay? And all those like figures that be successful, very cool. But back then, with my background, being an entrepreneur was being recognized as a loser. Okay, so the people wouldn't want to talk to you. If you look at that cute girl and you want to approach her, talk about your excitement, they just turn their head. Wasn't that sexy? I was really lucky. After 3 years of time, because of the organic growth of the business in China, it got acquired in 2010. And in late 2010, in December actually, a few more days will be 11th anniversaries. It went IPO in London Stock Exchange with over 18 times PE, and that's how I made my first fortune. Like most of the people, after having the first fortune, I did live some luxurious life. I enjoy a bit of things. When people ask me what kinds of things I think I try mostly everything. With the wealth. But I realized that it gave me a short term of happiness. But I feel like I do want to do something else. And then I felt like life science could be another interesting runway for me. So in 2011, after a year of enjoyment, I started looking for different projects to invest. 3 projects come up to me. One is the company that I mentioned today, I'm still serving. Another one is a genetic company. Actually, it's exactly like a company is about to go public called Prenetics. Okay, we do genetics testing. I remember back then it was supposed to be a very successful business. Anyway, I'm going to talk about it later. And the third one is called DJI. Everybody know about this company. However, came to me and asked me for $3 million for 15% of shares. Among these 3 projects, this is the only project that I didn't invest. Yeah, that was a joke, I'm telling you, that's really a joke. Otherwise, I would be billionaires, And every time when I bump into a professor, he'll ask me, how's your projects are doing? As a joke. But anyway, that's a lesson I learned. That's something that I didn't really understand when he told me all those back pictures about the application of drones. But anyway, as I mentioned, I invested in one of the genetic company. We were ever being mentioned as the Asia version of 23andMe by economists. I still keep that PR script, that magazine. But it turns out it's a project that lost me to over $2 million in only 3 years of time. I can spend an hour talk about this case. I usually share it in my EMBA class. And I also invest in another company called Tau. I'm not so sure if you guys know about that. That's a company using tau protein for Alzheimer's treatment. I hope, because they failed twice for the phase 3 clinical trial. It's a Singaporean company. I hope I'm not going to be total loss for another investment that I did in biotech. But again, today is about the existing company that I'm still working on and still in love with, called Vitargent. As Raymond mentioned, I think if you guys it's an often joiner for most of the government events. We are no strangers because we constantly being mentioned, as one of the early and successful showcase under the funding of the government. Now we have headquarters in Hong Kong. We have 5 laboratories in Hong Kong, 2 in Hong Kong Science Park, 2 in Full-Time, and 1 back in City University. And we also have a laboratory in Belgium and Guangzhou. Okay, you may know us through different things. You may know us through media coverage. We were the only company being mentioned in Financial Times back in 2015. Maybe we are award winner. Maybe because the PwC become our shareholders, which is our company was their first and ever invest in the biotech sector, and many different other things. Or maybe you know us because we have kids being sent to some of our STEM programs. We work with the World Society of Biology for different STEM cell educations and molecular biology education. We also do a little bit of things under different brand. We do the COVID testing for environmental samples and also for the human samples as well. Okay, so this is a business school theory about the startup financing cycle. I'm not so sure what was the stage of your life in this cycle. But most of the professors will tell you, as long as you go through this valley of death and you pass it, everything will be okay. This is what the business school talk about. Okay. But as I said, your plan and reality is always different. And there's no difference for the case of Vitargent. And what happened was, our company was established in 2010. And we moved into the Hong Kong Science Park in March 2011 under the IncuBio program. Then, as you can see that we've been through 4 different financial crises. And each one of them could have just bankrupt us and then we could just stop the business. One very important and interesting thing was, the bigger the financial crisis that we had, the bigger the awards that we got. Very interesting. We got basically everything. When you look at our company histories, we won everything. From Hong Kong to Asia to international. So that's why another insight for me is like, when I look at a company as an investment subject, I don't look at those awards, frankly. Those things are just publicity. But I really truly admire those people who actually nominate us to get those awards. Because frankly, they know nothing about what's going on in the company, but they still did the nomination. Okay. But the reason why I didn't give up, or the team didn't give up, is very simple. Because what we see is we still have a lot of things to be done to solve the social problems. And what problems that we're trying to solve? We see a lot of people being suffer by a group of chemicals called endocrine disruptors. Okay, causing different issues I don't need to mention because I guess many of you guys know about that. Many cancers related to them. But two particular things really resonate with me and really bother me. One is the breast cancer. Because my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 11 years old. And then lucky that her case was early discovered and then the treatment was quick, so she recovered. But I know that since then, a lot of things that she couldn't expose herself to. For example, a lot of organs or even soybean meal, she couldn't drink too much. But our team realized that a lot of skincare, cosmetics, or a lot of consumer products we encounter every day, they have this kind of stuff. So, in order to screen these products, we have to find a way which is not animal testing, because traditional way we use an animal for all this testing and data. And they would like to develop a method that could screen the things in a high throughput and a cost-effective way. Another thing is the reproductive issues. I think 20 years ago, only 1 in 25 pairs, I just based on the figures from Hong Kong. 1 in 25 pairs in 20 years ago have this issue. Last year's figures saying 1 in 4 pairs. Okay, and I don't know all the factors contribute to this one. A lot of people saying the working quality, the work pressure, this and that. But I know one important factor is called environmental factors. And when we test a lot of these kind of things, we see a lot of these products that are exposed to you guys have this kind of stuff, and they don't have a really effective means to effectively screen them and to help the consumer and the manufacturers to pick the right stuff. So I guess I know many of you are using sunscreen today. How many of you guys? I think most of the women, yes? Yeah, I think any of you know what's BB cream? Yes. Yeah, but hey, for guys, BB cream is not for baby. Okay? A lot of guys have no idea what's BB cream. BB cream is something that is 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 as a concealer, as a sunscreen, as a moisturizer. That's actually the worst. In case you're interested in knowing what kind of what category of skincare and cosmetic products are the worst, BB cream or CC cream is one of them. And but we realized that by promoting our business, most of the general public, they didn't have any idea what our company is doing. So we try to do more public education to let people understand what's our work, to make it more relevant. And then we try to do things like not exactly based on our technologies, but by listening to the consumers, to the general public, how can we better position our company to the investors or to the general public? In a language that is not only known by the scientists, but the general public. I think this is the first chance that we encounter when we consider commercializing our business. So we pick we try to re-engineer the whole presentation deck and all the use of words to make it more accessible and easily understandable. And then we use a lot of different analogies to tell people. For example, when you look at these figures, look at this Greek. I assume that there's no Greek here. No? No Greek? Okay, good, great. Because it did happen to me in the class as a Greek and saying they know everything about this. And when we talk to those focus group people, they said like they have difficulty to understand all these ingredients. Okay, it looks like Greek, pretty much similar. And then I realized that because in my family we have medical doctor, we have the pharmacist, and my mom, because of my job work nature, she always passes me random stuff. Say, son, you know everything. Tell me this one is good or not. And my friend come to me saying like, hey, this supplement, is it good or not? I say, sorry, I'm not a computer. I don't know everything. So hey, how about your elder son? He's a medical doctor. He's a specialist. Let him to have a look. Hey, how about the daughter? She's a pharmacist. Let her to have a look. Sorry, they don't know nothing about this stuff. So don't overestimate that the professions know these things. They don't. This is not the paradigm, I'm telling you. And then I realized that this is an area that most of people will be interested in knowing it, even though it's not directly related to our technologies. But because of that, we try to develop an AI system to look at all these ingredients, constantly updated for educational purpose. But I realized that this one, when we change the angle from telling them how we engineer the fish, all those signal and everything, they know nothing of that. Even some of the investors even ask if our fish tastes good. Yeah, most of the layman, you just don't overestimate the understanding of your technology. You have to use a way that may not be 100% relevant to you. But by doing this, we try to rebrand ourselves, having different names, different means of public education. We do things we try to rate the things under the same categories into different color, like traffic light. So that's why a lot of people call us a fish company. That's something that the general public will understand. And we are really, really popular, especially in mainland China. Whenever we publish our whitelist report, there's over like 50 million readers for each of them. And also, that's how we attract a celebrity to become our shareholders as well. The Gloria Gem, the Gloria Tang is also one of our shareholders because of this white report that we published in China. And what we do, we continue our R&D. We hope we could build up a database, a big data that could consist of all the biotoxicity data and efficacy data. So when you take a product and come to ask us, I can tell you this product not only functional but also safe. This is a way how we do. And then we help the manufacturers to produce safer products. So the consumer will have more safer choice. By the end of their product life cycle, everything is going to go back to the environment. So if we do the first step right, we can also protect the consumer and the environment. Very easy concept. So the people ask us what's our future ahead. We should be the world number one in skincare, cosmetics, toxicity, and efficacy screening service provider. But what we're going to do? We see a lot of, especially because of the COVID, we see a lot of like real-time diagnostic medical device demand, especially in a place like Hong Kong. We try to decentralize the medical service because a lot of diagnostics work still being operated by the doctors, which is not the most optimal condition. A lot of these things can be done by other people or an easy way. So we're trying to do this, and then we also see the market potential beyond the traditional laboratory work. And this will be a much bigger and more meaningful market to not only commercially, but also in terms of social impact. And I think this is the last slide before the Q&A. Few takeaway points, especially when the people who work in this life science related business. This is also applicable for people who invest in these areas. Investment, it could be money, it could be time, it could be effort. First of all, there are so many other things we can invest, but I think it's just a principle of not putting all the eggs together. Life science is definitely an area that you should put some resources and money into it, just like NFT or cryptocurrency. Even if you may not entirely understand it, but it should be based on the principle of investment. And second is, I usually pick something that really bothers me. I don't know if the things that you're working on it are something that bothering you, or it just happened because of a profession or because of your study in the university or professor doing it and then you do it. It could be different means or could be different reasons. But the reason why I'm so involved myself into any of the project that I do is because it's really something that I find bothering me, and that I still see our technology is part of a solution. So pick something that bothers you and then you try to work on it. And the third point is, this is something that I always tell people, and also being responsible to students who want to pursue the career in life science is, don't expect quick money. No, sorry, in this industry there's no quick money. Because a lot of people, they will expect, especially investors, They want, okay, would I have interest pay every year? Sorry, there's no such a thing in our industries. Okay, can I have a break even in 2 years' time? Oh, sorry, that may not be the case. I always tell them the biotech industry or the life science industry in general don't follow the traditional VC philosophy, the 7 years plus 3. No, they don't do it. Okay, it's usually longer than that. For example, in my case, I personally experienced 8 years of burning money for the R&D before we have any meaningful things available to the market. But most of the people, they wouldn't understand. Okay, because they have so many investment choice, especially a place like Hong Kong. You can buy house, you can buy stock, you can buy different financial products. So that's why I call the word from Warren Buffett. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the inpatient to the patient. I think same for the biotech industries. But surely my background I always share with the students. It's because first of all, I was really lucky to have financial freedom, and I am not the breadwinner of the family. If in case you have all these issues, you have to deal with the finance and support the family, you may need to consider would it be something that you prepare to do in this industry. And then the fourth point is, if you yourself can really become part of this project, okay, it always maximizes the rate of success. Okay, it's not just something that, okay, I invest in it, or I passively keep a distance to work together. If that's a project that you pick and then you can actively help, that would really help the successful way of the project, especially in the bio industry. Because a lot of people always think the success of this nature of the company, just based on my personal experience, is entirely based on the technology breakthrough. I can dare telling you it's not. It's really about the people that actually how you can commercialize your technologies. In a way that the people accept it, in a way that the people accept not only the technology itself, they could understand, but also the price, the distribution, a lot of things that you need other people to join together. So I think a lot of scientists, because in the school how you got the funding or how you got your PhD may not be, don't be offended, may not be because you can sell the things. It's because you do something no one did it before, and then you publish it. You publish in a high impact paper, and then you got what you achieved. But in a reality, you need a lot of people to do these things together. I wouldn't say who is more important than who. No, but I look at a lot of pharmaceutical companies. A lot of their CEO are not having a doctor title. This is what I observe. Okay, and this is a fact. So, okay, I leave more time for the Q&A, and feel free. I always say that there's no stupid question, only stupid answer. So, be free. Thank you.